So here we are, it is now November, and that means it is time for another money audit. This is my audit for October. So let's get started. Most things haven't changed in terms of outgoings this month. I have two outgoings changing next month, but I'll talk about that when that happens. So let's just run through the list and I shall show you what is going on there. So first of all, council tax is still £116. My gas and electric is still £40. That's going to change next month. My car service package is still £26.92 per month. My rent is still £675 per month, and that again is going to change next month. And there's a whole story to go with that. My water is still £15.76. My phone is still £9.37. My actual phone bill is £18.75 per month for my mobile. That is calls, texts, unlimited 4G, and I get that through Smarty. It's a frozen amount. I've had it for about 6 years now, and I do half of it to personal and half of it to business because I use the same phone for everything and it's hard to divide up, so I just do it straight down the middle. Petrol this month, I have spent £27.66, and that was because I went on my last car camping trip to Morecambe and I just wanted to be sure that I had petrol and not have to worry about it. My everything else category for October only came to £10.99. I bought my first Christmas present for somebody and that's what that cost. My food bill this month is £38.75. I've bought a reasonable amount, but I have now been dipping into stores because particularly where like veg is concerned, there haven't been many discounts, and so it's a kind of a bit of everything. And obviously I use Nectar points to keep my bill down as well, so that's why that is as low as it is. Fees for coffee, that is the donation site that I use that people can donate to my channel, to the work that I do here. Takes a lot of time to make videos, record them, edit them, upload them, finish them, all that sort of stuff, and that really helps. So the fees for that, because the money that comes into coffee goes in through PayPal, and PayPal charge me fees. So that was £2.43. And that is it really, and that comes to a total outgoings of £962.88, which is good. It's not going to be like that next month. Things are going to go up. Christmas shopping is going to have to be started properly, and that is why that is what it is. In terms of gas and electric, I talked on a video back in October about Martin Lewis and about the announcement that they were going to start for low users. They were going to reduce or remove the standing charge and put it onto the kilowatt per hour amount instead, so that we weren't paying enormous amounts of money just for the privilege of being connected to the system when we weren't using the energy. But it's not really gone to plan. Instead of explaining that, I'm just going to play here the piece of video that I made on that so that you can see how that works. So that's going to come now. I've been reading Martin Lewis's update on the new Ofgem proposal for offering low energy users lower standing charges, or getting rid of standing charges and adding it to the actual usage. And he's not been very impressed about it because of the rules they've set around it. And he says that he feels that Ofgem have set it up for failure so that they can just stop doing it. I think they've given it 2 years. So one of the things he says is that you need to have a minimum usage level to qualify for these new tariffs that they're bringing in. Ofgem is proposing to set the thresholds at 666 kilowatts for electricity and 2,836 kilowatts for gas, which is around £178 per year of energy use, excluding standing charges. So you've got to take that out of your bill and just look at the physical energy usage. Now, I don't know whether he means it has to be the actual kilowatt usage or the amount. He says that the intention behind this seems to be to cut out second homeowners, yet as Martin notes above, it risks wrongly capturing very low users. So they have this, he's included this limit of it being around £178 a year. Now, I have spent within the last 12 months, so I haven't had my October bill through yet as of recording this, so I've added a couple of months from last year to make it up to 12 months, if you know what I mean. And my spend, that's across gas and electric, is £200.20p. That's taking out the standing charges. The standing charges on both those accounts come to £287.79, and I haven't included the VAT. However, when he looks at thresholds in kilowatt usage, I have a major problem, because he's saying 666 kilowatts for electricity. That's not too bad. I've used 677 kilowatts in electricity. For gas, you have to have a usage of 2,836 kilowatts per hour for the gas. My gas usage is 640. So I don't know if I'm even eligible for this, because it's excluding very low users. So if you're like me and you're trying desperately to keep your energy bills down, and you're doing things, the sort of things I do, which is switching off your gas boiler. My gas boiler only goes on in the winter if it turns really cold. I don't even have hot running water here now, because the amount of hot water I need, it's easier and quicker and more energy efficient for me to just boil a saucepan on the hob, because it's such a small amount that I need. I have an electric shower, so I don't need it for bathing. I have my 2 freezers that I have on timer, and I started doing that because I have something that a lot of people don't have, which is my under-desk treadmill. So that's eating electricity. So I balance the use of that with putting my freezers on timer, and that kind of works out. So if you are a very low user, if you are doing the sorts of things that I'm doing, you're classed as a second homeowner, because he says at the end, the intention behind this, and he's referring to the thresholds, seems to be to cut out second homeowners, yet, as Martin notes above, it risks wrongly capturing very low users. Now, they don't have to offer both energy sources. So they might, so let's say if I'm lucky, they might offer me a low user tariff for my electricity, for instance. So I just come in for that, because that's 666 kilowatts and I'm using 677. So I might be able to save some money on that, but I won't be able to save any money on the gas. So I don't know. I think we've been screwed over, and I think we've been screwed over deliberately, because Ofgem doesn't really want to do this. The energy companies won't like it, and it means that they can do this as a trial for 2 years, and then, as Martin says, they'll be able to look at the figures, decide that nobody's using it, and then they'll be able to scrap it. So I'm really, really disappointed about that, because it's deliberately exclusionary. Absolutely ridiculous. And who knows, maybe the savings on this aren't worth the effort of worrying about anyway. I don't even know. This is supposed to come into force in January, but I don't know what it's going to look like, how it's going to, because all the energy providers can do it in different ways. So I don't know. Anyway, so if you're a low user, you are probably excluded from this low user tariff, because you don't use enough energy. You can't win, can you? You just can't win. Okay, so let's talk about income. Income has been various again this month. None of my income streams are especially predictable. They can change quite a lot. So let's start off with donations. This month I have received £44 in donations to the channel, so thank you to you. You know who you are. Interest this month has been considerably less than previous months because I don't have any accounts that are maturing at the moment. I have various savings accounts. I have a cash ISA now. I have some regular savers, some fixed bonds, and I put little bits of money in here, there and everywhere, chasing the interest rates where I can. So this month it comes to £34.57. One of the reasons that my interest rate remains higher is something that I talked about I think in my last audit, and then I heard something on Martin Lewis's podcast and I forgot that it had a name. So one of the things that I do is called Stoozing, and it's where you get a 0% interest credit card and you use it for all your daily spending where you can, and all the money that hasn't been spent because you've used the credit card, you put that money into a savings account and it earns interest, and it sits there earning interest until you need to pay off the credit card. So the credit card that I've got at the moment that I'm using is, the main one anyway, is Barclaycard. I got a Barclaycard in August. It's a 2-year 0% interest, and I just have to pay the minimum each month, which is £5. And I can spend up to £3,000. It's just under £3,000, my limit. And just keep going with that. So all the money that would have been spent on petrol, food, my mobile phone bill, because my mobile phone bill isn't set up as a direct debit, you just nominate a card. That's how Smarty works. So my phone bill is being paid by a credit card that I don't have to pay for 2 years. Christmas gets paid for it, and all sorts of other things. And all that money that would have been spent if it had been on a debit card, coming from actual cash, I shove it straight into my cash ISA, or I just don't spend the money. Everything that's in the cash ISA is earning interest, and that's how it works. So I've put a little explanation below to show you what's the basic premise of what Stoozing is, and it's a really good way to maximise your interest returns while you can. And then when you get to the end of the term of the free interest, the 0% interest credit card, you pay the whole thing off in one go because that money is still sitting in your savings account. You pay it off and then you move on to the next credit card. I make spreadsheets for all the credit cards that I have current, so I can see when I'm getting close to the limit, and then I know when I need to start looking for the next credit card, so I can start the whole process over again. Possibly you could find another card that's doing a balance transfer and just take that credit card and shove it onto another one and just continuously not pay for it. But I prefer just to pay them off and then start with a new one. And then what I do after that, I keep the credit cards once they're paid off. I kind of archive them, and they're there for emergencies. So if something happens and I instantly need to get hold of £500, £1,000, something's happened, I can pick out a credit card and go, I can use that, and then worry about paying it when at the end of the month for that card comes up. But at least it gives me some extra bit of breathing space in case something completely unexpected happens and I don't have the cash to hand in easy access savings accounts. It can really help you out. So that is what that's what it's called. It's called Stoozing. Sorry about the sunlight. Hold on a second. How annoying. Oh, that's better. You can see me again now. Suddenly the sun decided to come out right in the wrong place. So that's that. So £34.57 on interest this month, and that is thanks to these credit cards, which enables me to not actually physically spend the money, but stash it away in easy access. And my cash ISA, which is doing pretty well at the moment. I'm getting about £27 a month at the moment on my cash ISA, and money is going in and out all the time because I don't keep money in my current accounts. It all goes into the cash ISA, and when I know I have bills due to come out, because I keep everything on a spreadsheet, I move the money across. There's no penalties involved in that. It's like you can take the money out of the cash ISA, transfer it straight over via the app to your bank account, and it's there in minutes, and it's just so easy to do. And that's how I maximise my interest at a time when rates are falling and are not quite as good as they used to be. My business, that's my little craft design business. Not done too badly this month, £93.20. We're rolling close to Christmas, so I'm hoping I can keep up this level of income on that for the rest of the year and clear some stock as well, because I've been busy making new stuff. And if you follow my business channel or on my website, you follow my newsletter, you'll see those new products coming in. You'll see how that's working. Cleaning this month has been really good. I've done my usual jobs, but I also had a one-off private cleaning job for a house that has been vacated locally, and that took me 6 hours, so that made a big difference. So £880.40 for cleaning this month, which is higher than normal, but those one-off jobs, like 6 hours at £15 an hour, does make a big difference. So that's been a fantastic month for the cleaning work. YouTube, done fair enough. My income from that dropped off quite a lot earlier in the year, but it's been starting to come back up again, and this month it's £85.58, and that is income that comes from people basically being forced to watch the adverts, but also occasionally you get a super thanks. There is a super thanks in there, so thank you for that. Survey income has been down a bit this month, and I blame some of that on the Amazon hack, because a lot of these survey sites rely on other companies for their platform, and some of them, when Amazon, it was Amazon and Microsoft were hacked. Microsoft was hacked. Amazon had a DNS issue, so someone had been playing around with the settings in the background and had made a mistake, and that's what cut a lot of things off. So I had a couple of weeks where there was one survey site I couldn't get into at all, and a couple of the others were a bit glitchy. So we're a little bit down this month, but that's fine. We're okay. Cleaning work picked up the shortfall. Vinted, I have sold £4.70, and that's £4.70 of personal items. Anything that's sold that is related to clothing and things like that, that isn't my personal stuff. So I have friends who seem to regularly have clear outs and then dump sacks of clothes on me. I do that as part of my business because it boosts my business income, and I treat it like that as part of what my business does. So a lot of my Vinted income actually appears within my business. Nothing on eBay, nothing cash wise, and that is my total income. And that means that I have done well this month. So my total outgoings were £962.88. My income was £1,218.13, which means I have really come in on top this month, which is great. And that the difference in the income and the outgoing will go into my cash ISA and will be earning me a bit of money there. So that is that's pretty much it. That's a slightly better than usual month, and I'm hoping that things will tick along quite nicely now until the end of the year. Only 2 more audits left to go of 2025, which is ridiculous. Hey ho. Any questions about this, let me know. Hopefully that little bit that I've put in about the standing charges makes sense. I know most of you have probably seen that within the other videos, but there are some people that only, come here for the audits, which is fine. And I thought I'd put it in there, sort of re-explaining the entire thing. It was just easier just to put the same section in, because that is currently part of the scenario for people that are low users like me who, as always, get, we're all getting shafted by the energy firms, and that's just an explanation of my point of view of that. So yeah, any questions, any comments, do add them in the comments, and I will answer you as best I can. And thank you for watching, and see you next month for another audit. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.